Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and I'll be bringing you all the action once again here as we're coming towards the end of our season, and what a season it has been. We have produced some great racing this season with some night races. So far, it's been a completely dry season. I think we've had a couple of races where we've had a little bit of rain, but it's been nonetheless completely dry for majority of this season. And like I said, it's been a brilliant season. It's been phenomenal to watch, and all these guys have been brilliant, especially in the GT4 class. But we are here at the 10th round of the season. Evening Ben in the chat, evening everyone else that's here, you guys in the chat. But we are live here at the 10th round of the championship, and the 10th round brings us to Great Britain once again for Oulton Park, probably the most trickiest and tightest circuit in Great Britain, and probably on the ACC game. This circuit really tests a car ability to take curbs and just challenges the drivers to be patient. But nonetheless, let's have a quick rundown of what the plan is tonight. Obviously, GT4s stick to a different kind of setup for the evening. Obviously, GT3s will do their sprint and feature races, and the same with GT4s. But in this case, the GT4s start things off with a free practice session. These guys have currently been doing it for the last hour, dialing in their cars, getting used to the conditions that I've put in front of them. Straight after that, we will go straight into the reverse grid race. Sprint race, 20 minutes flat out from lights to flag all the way to the end. One pit stop required. They only add 1 litre of fuel, which will take up 25 seconds. If they choose that they want to add fuel, then they will add an additional 5 seconds to that. But nonetheless, it is pretty much a reverse grid order of the championship. Once we've done that, and the race comes to an end, we will take a short 10-minute break, as the drivers also will take the 10-minute break. We'll have a 10-minute practice session. It's up to them if they want to go out or not. But nonetheless, in that session, it's basically a chance for the drivers to calm down, relax, get a drink, and get themselves prepped and ready to go for the intense 5-minute qualifying session. 5 minutes on a circuit like this, where traffic is going to be mad. Qualifying is never going to be more important than at this circuit here tonight, so that is going to be hot this evening. Then we go into the feature race, which is a 45-minute, not an hour, 45 minutes for the GT4s. Pit stop required once again. Obviously, due to the way ACC works and the servers work, we cannot take a pit stop out of each one, so they both have to run a pit stop. And that's pretty much the rundown. The only other thing that we need to take into consideration for the GT4s is the GT3s run a BOP system, so they all get leveled out as best they possibly can between each class, either gaining or losing weight. For us in the GT4s, we decided to use the weight as ballast. So championship ballast, so the leader of the championship carries that ballast throughout the evening and throughout the season. And obviously O'Reilly's been carrying that 40 kilos pretty much for the majority of this season. And that's obviously being the championship leader. So not only does he start from the back of the pack, he's also got 40 kilos on board that car. And as you can see, that McLaren currently 3/10 off the pace and struggling at this moment. Speaking of the Drivers' Championship, let's have a quick rundown of how it looks. Kieran O'Reilly leads the way with 152 points ahead of Torok. He's on 732 points with Torok with 580. Then we move down to Silt, who's not too far behind Torok in that third place position. Looking very good here in his Ginetta. The Ginetta could be quite good around this circuit. Obviously, the Porsche possibly looking quite strong also. Fourth in the championship is Hooper with P5 going away of Clouden. P6 is Friedman with P7 going away of McGowan. Carlos in P8 and Duffin in P9. Hibbs is just within the championship standings, but he's probably going to go out tonight with 16 points. He will lose out if O'Reilly beats him quite comfortably tonight. Then we go to the drivers that are currently out of the championship. We've got Matt Wright currently out in 11th place position. Then Robert Ramsell in 12th. 13th, Skunky. 14th is Taylor. 15th is Stardog. Fernie in 16th. With 17th going away, Millington. 18th is Leach. 19th is Old Sim Racer with Gary Clarble in 20th. O'Brien in 21st with Aberdeen in 22nd. 23rd goes the way of Smith with Tipping in that 24th position. Johnson 25th with Bessie in 26th. 27th going away of Goudet, while Unsworth is in 28th, Archer 29th, Rook in 30th, Cummings in 32nd, with Zdanov in 33rd, Wheel 34th, Marsden is 35th, and just as I'm come away, they're off the cameras. Lexi in 36th, 38th is Snide, 39th is Jackal, 40th is Betterson, and Stark in 41st position. And that is the Drivers' Championship. Regarding the teams, it is MSA leading the way, 178 points ahead of Greasy Bandits Racing. Old School Racers sat in P3, while P4 is Unknown Racing. P5 is SimPlay Racing, with P6 going the way of Cam Racing. 5 points once again, and they will be knocked out of the championship running. Then we've got Quantum Motorsport in P7, Team Tom in P8, P9 is Blunt Force Racing, while Piston Pounders in P10. P11 is Piston Pumpers, with P12 getting away of Road Runners Motorsport. Star Wolf Racing is in 13th, Audio Sport in 14th, Old Kit Racing 15th, Lexi Industries in that 16th place position, and 17th is the way of RBGT Team. And that is a run through of your championship coming into the 10th round of the season. So now let's have a quick chat of this fantastic circuit here at Oulton Park. Like I said, a very tricky circuit. Nonetheless, it's very difficult to get right. The length of it is only 2.6 miles long, 4.3 in kilometers. There's 17 corners, 8 to the left, 9 to the right. Pole position will start on the right-hand side of the circuit, and the ACC lap record is a 1:30.8, done by the Porsche 992 GT3R, and the most successful driver around the circuit is myself. And that is a quick run through of the championship standings and also the track layout. There's some fantastic corners here of Druids and Knickerbrook, some of the fantastic stories behind most of these corners. But we focus purely on what's going to happen tonight. Obviously, Kieran O'Reilly looking mighty in that McLaren, looking quite strong for this championship. Obviously, he seems to be struggling a little bit. Currently down in 8th place position. You can see him pushing the limits of that McLaren. Does not look happy, does not look settled around here. And we'll see what he can do with this car here tonight, because from what we can figure out, we can look at the BOP, and the GT4s do have a BOP. And what we can see is the McLaren actually loses a bit of weight around here. So the McLaren, not the best, obviously very good in a straight line. We saw that at the Red Bull Ring, it was mighty in a straight line, but here, something about it just does not want to click, does not want to work. And like I said, we'll see what he can do. Ones to keep out for, though, is the likes of Tordok, Clouden, Sylph, even Klarball there looking very strong in his Ginetta, as Clouden has gone in P3, and there goes Tordok. The Porsche is meant to be relatively good round here as well, and he gets within just half a tenth of Ian McGowan. Basnai looking quite competitive in the Mercedes-Benz as well. Duffin's thereabouts as well, and we keep an eye on the Aston Martins of the Cam Racing duo of Millington and Ramsell, and there goes Duffin. He makes an improvement and goes up to P4. So the pack is close here. They're very, very close. We'll have a quick look at the order at the minute. All the way down to 16th place, all the way down to Hooper. It's 16th place. Is a second separated all the guys from there downwards. So it is very tight here at Oulton Park. And it's going to be even tighter when going racing. So it's going to be very important for guys to be patient. It's going to be very important for guys to just take their time and find themselves around this circuit. Will Friedman trying to get himself back in his championship contention in the top 3. Currently sat P6 at the minute. From what I could tell, he's only about 14 points and he's up into 13th place. So looking at the championship points, if we go down to Sylph in 3rd, all the way down to Will Friedman, who's in 6th, there's 14 points separating them, and in that group is Sylph, Hooper, Clouden, and Friedman, and all those guys are wanting to be at the top. Where are they? So we got Clouden sat at P4, Sylph's just struggling at the minute in P8, being outdone by the bronze driver Klarball, so he's got some real strong pace here, Klarball and that Ginetta, so he feels good, he feels confident around here. Can he tuck that pace and speed into a race-winning, possibly podium as well, opportunity here for Gary Klarball. But guys, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you do not miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And also, while you're at it, have a look in the description below at our fantastic sponsors as well, Design Manchester and Audio Sport. They've been supporters and obviously a part of the crew. Design Manchester produces vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including SimPlay merchandise. The Facebook link is there as well. Audio Sport manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 audio solutions, and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk, and their Facebook link is below as well. Obviously, due to the season coming to an end very, very quickly, we have got the big event coming towards the end of our season. The 24 hours of the Nordschleife, a charity event, an endurance race that is going to absolutely test the limit of our cars and our drivers. Make sure you stick around so you can see what happens regarding the sign-ups, teams, drivers, and if you do want to be a part of the action, all the news will be coming up very shortly. You have to sign up to our Discord, so you make sure that you can be one of the first guys to get yourself signed up and ready to do it. It is all for a good cause, it is all for a charity event, and we're going to try and do our very best to raise as much money as we possibly can. Reminder as well, this is partnered with the fantastic group that is Team FBR, and it is them who really push this forward. Obviously, one of the drivers himself has got a lot of cancer in their family, and they really want to push to try and make aware of what people go through day to day with cancer. So make sure you tune into that, and make sure you donate as much money as we possibly can. We are going to be spreading it as much as we possibly can, so tune in for that one as well. Drivers are now going to get themselves prepped and ready to go racing for this sprint race. Reminder, 20-minute sprint race, lights the flag, reverse grid of the championship. The tightest circuit on the calendar, the hardest circuit to overtake on the calendar. Who is going to win this one? We've got some strong drivers towards the front of this grid, and I think I got a rough idea of who I think is going to win this first race. But let's hear you guys in the chat. We're very quiet here this evening. Let's see you interact with myself and give us as much support as we possibly can, as I will get now a poll going for who you think is going to win the first race tonight. I said if this would not be possible if it wasn't for our team that work in the background, our marshal, well, not marshals, our stewards, obviously admin team, obviously the guys who run the lead, the commentators as well. There's a lot of people in the background that do a lot of work around here, and I really just give these guys a massive appreciation in the chat. Give this video a like, hit that subscribe as well, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't really miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. Once we go live, you will know about it. So as these guys are just about to get ready to go, Gary Klarbel has ended up back in pit lane. So I was going to put his name down for chance of winning, but I ain't going to do that now. So there is the poll for a driver of race one winner and driver of the day. We haven't even got to that point. We haven't even got a race on yet. So let's have a quick run through of this grid order then. Round 10 of the season is here at Oulton Park, and we have Snai starting on pole position ahead of Marshall, with Marston going to be starting in that P3 position. In fourth place, we have Will. Zdanov will now move up into P4, with Vesely will start at P5. And then behind them will be Johnson, and tipping for P6 and 7. Aberdeen will then be behind them, alongside which would have been Klarbel, but it won't be, and that'll be Fernie in P9. Stardog will start P10, with Stephen Millington starting in 11th. Dan Taylor then in 12th place position, with Ramsel in that 13th place position. Lucky for some, Hibbs will start in 14th place position, with Duffin in 15th, and he'll be starting alongside Carlos. as those two come together. It'll be Ian McGowan in 17th with Hooper in that 18th place position, sharing the road together. Then we got Will Friedman in 19th, starting with Jamal Clouden in 20th position. Turok is 21st with Sylph in 22nd, and Kieran O'Reilly to the back of the pack with Old Sim Racer requesting to start last. He will start at the very back with Marsden and Gary Klarbel starting from the back of the pack. And that is your grid order for tonight's race, as we're about to get ourselves ready to go racing here at Oulton Park for the, like I said, 10th round of this season. So as the guys now come towards the back end of the circuit, it is Snai who's going to get us underway here, racing at Oulton Park for a week's worth of dramatic racing. Probably, like I said, the most challenging circuit on the calendar. And I guarantee it's going to be a load of fun. We go to the helicopter cam. We get ready to go racing here. We're back in Britain. We're back at the home of SimPlay Motorsport in the United Kingdom. We've got 2 more races yet to go. We've got Watkins Glen and the home of SimPlay Motorsport, Donington Park, for the finale here. Kieran O'Reilly, can he extend his championship lead? Here we go, Snai and Lexi starting on the front row, and we are green and go. And I can't see very much from that angle, so we'll go from the front. And already at the back of this pack, we've all got quite a lot of cars, quite congested together, but still just about giving each other enough room as they survive turn number 1. But it's Snai and Lexi who disappear down in towards turn number 2. Again, everyone just about, we got to see Toro, I think that was Carlos all over the curb there, possibly. Or was it Toro? I'm not sure. I think it was Carlos, actually. But they're all racing hard already, heading down towards then turn 3. It is still quite congested and tight as they then work through turn 3. And once again, we're all still close as there goes Will Friedman. He's off. Clouden's in the wall as well. So we've got damage for them. Clouden's managed to get around, and Will Friedman's managed not to hit the outside wall, as already we got Marshall dropping off the back of Snai, with Zdanov really making a move towards the front, and he's changed his livery once again. Wheel has already dropped into the back of the pack after a bad start, but Johnson there up in the P6. Any other more instances, we looked further back. We'll go on board with Clouden because he'll be able to see, because there's a couple of cars that are off. It's Marston there as well, so a couple of guys heading into the chicane. And they're all just trying to get themselves into a rhythm and into a position. They could work from there. Sylph going straight on there, missing the chicane, and ends up dropping behind Will Friedman. But Snai leading the way, though, at the minute, as Lexi's under pressure still from Zdanov, who's looking up the inside in his Mercedes-Benz. And he looks like he's going to get out-dragged. He's going to out-drag the Alpine, but Lexi tries to fight back. She stays to the outside, keeps her foot pinned, but Zdanov gets the job done. Here comes now the McLaren of Johnson. He's now up the inside to make contact. Lexi not quite giving enough racing room there for Johnson, as he was alongside, but Lexi holds on to the position as Johnson goes a little bit wide. Millington just behind this group, as Hibbs and Duffin have had a great start and started working their way up the order. Everyone else relatively in order. Jamal Clouden, the biggest loser out of that one, and Clarble staying in pit lane at this moment in time. But it's Snai leading away from Zdanov and M. Johnson. Lexi's dropped behind him. Millington now as well, as we got Duffin now already passing Hibbs there, and he's up the inside of Tipping as well. So Tipping losing a position to Duffin. Duffin is on the move, as Hibbs also looking to go with him. But we got there Taylor looking up the inside of Hibbs. Hooper trying to go with him as well, and Tordok is just behind all this as well. Ramsell's looking quite tasty in all this as well. Clarble says in the chat, wet tyres plus out won't load now, won't reload, so he might have to leave the session and come back, I'm afraid, Clarble. I'm not sure what has happened there, but it looks like the game is gone. No thanks, don't want you working no more. So the front guys have actually now spread out a little bit. It's now Hibbs, and it's actually Tipping who's got this train behind him now, a big gaggle of cars, and they're all relatively clean at the minute, and Clouden towards the back of the pack, working his way through the order. But this is where the fight is. Tipping with a train of cars behind him. We go on his rear wing, and you can just see them all lining up, and Hibbs wanting to get his way through as quickly as he possibly can, because Duffin has cleared him and off he goes. But there's no way through. You can see that Hibbs is trying everything he possibly can to find a way through on that Ginetta, but there's just no room for an opportunity to get past. Zdanov goes fastest lap of this session already, so that clean air already helping the Mercedes driver. Oh, is it? You see Tipping just has a slide, has a moment, and Duffin now has caught Fernie and Lexi, so this should be interesting. This is battling out for 5th place position, and Duffin's going wide, going side by side with Remy Fernie, and he's trying to get the run on him, and further back, oh, that is McGowan, and off goes Friedman, big time. What caused that? Not sure, as we just see it in the foreground. But Will Friedman has managed to get going. There's another car off as well. That is Wheel in the background that's off. Meanwhile, Johnson is sticking with Zdanov as they're trying to work their way onto the back of Snai, who's extending his gap. Meanwhile, Fernie managed to hold off Duffin, and with that all going on, Duffin has actually been losing time and dropped to the clutches of Tipping once again as Hibbs joins him. So it's just a train at the minute. It's just the way this circuit works. There's just no way to overtake, and everyone relatively close, which is great to see. Oh, it's Lexi! I think might have possibly had a contact with Fernie, and Duffin goes around the outside. Job done there. Duffin gains another position. Could Matthew Duffin see an opportunity to get on the podium? Still a lot of work to do so, though, to get to that position. But he is on the move, though. Snai, though, extending the gap to Zdanov. Pit window has now opened, so this could be an opportunity for some of the guys to get into the pits as soon as they possibly can. Lexi, though, moving out of the way of Duffin, and there Hibbs has gone off. So has he been shoulder barged? As you can see, all the GT4s close to one another, and you can see O'Reilly's in the middle of all this as well, trying to get onto terms with Tordok and Ramsel. Anyone opting to pit right now? We've got Hooper in, Tordok in, and also Carlos and a lot of the MSA boys diving into the pits, as is Stardog as well. But the first one into the pits was Johnson. Could be a good call, but it's Snai who says fastest lap of this race. Meanwhile, Duffin has done Lexi and Fernie now, and they're all still stuck behind Tipping. Down towards turn 3, and there is Lexi bouncing all over the grass and curbs, trying to get back on track, and Tipping now looking to attack the Alpine, but he can't find a way through, and that's put him under pressure. Taylor, there goes Ramsel. Is he going to fit through the gap? No, he's into the wall. Ramsel, damage to the car, and has got a lot of work to do on that one now, and he's trying to get going. Meanwhile, Johnson has come out of the pits. Here comes Hooper. McGowan's in there as well, I believe, and Clouden using the early pit stops to try and jump a few cars. Meanwhile, Millington starting to be hunted down by Duffin. Snyder extending the gap, so I think it's going to be very difficult to see a different winner here, because Snai is comfortably out in front. And we see here Taylor, Tipping and Lexi just holding up the championship contenders at the minute. We got O'Reilly and Snai who are in the top 3 of the championship, and they're going nowhere. So this will benefit the guys further down who's pitted now, like so Hooper, Tordok, Johnson, all those guys. Oh, and Lexi's gone off. Taylor's been tapped. And they're all reacting to Lexi going off, and Taylor has been spun round. Lexi, though, under pressure. Old Sim Racer's in the middle of all this as well. So Old Sim Racer, I think there's a lap down, is just trying to get out of the way, I think. And Sil decides, nope, I'm not staying in this no longer. Into the pits he comes, which is a good decision. O'Reilly was in the wrong place, though, to pit. And Millington has now lost out to Duffin. Oh, and there goes O'Reilly, a shove past Lexi, and job done. And Hibbs is now making a move as well. So Hibbs up the inside of Old Sim Racer. Can he do Lexi as well? No, he cannot. And right now, Duffin is sitting in a P3 position, a podium position, after a horrid Red Bull ring. He's come back with a strong one. I did leave, it still won't load. Oh, that's a shame for you, Carbo. I'm not sure what else to suggest at the minute. Maybe not saved it properly. I have no idea what's going on there. But Lexi there being shoved by Tipping, and Tipping gets another position from that. Meanwhile, Millington is coming out of pit lane. There is Johnson, and just behind them is Hooper and Tordok. And once again, although they've cleared the cars, they're going to end up behind slower cars as well, and Silth has lost out massively because of it. Silth has come out of pit lane behind Tordok and Hooper, so that's already showing Fernie already drive through for track limits here at the Oulton Park circuit, so he's struggling to keep that car within the track limits. Meanwhile, Aberdeen's on the back of Ramsell. Ramsell possibly with heavy damage to that car. But now, we look to the guys who have completed their pit stops. Clouden, meanwhile, has moved up a couple of places. But I believe Sylph has lost out massively. Just being in the traffic has caused him to lose positions, not just to Tordok, but to Hooper as well. And Millington now under some serious pressure. Duffin, meanwhile, sets fastest lap of the race, and he's now trying to catch Sedan off as quickly as he possibly can. Meanwhile, Fernie's in to possibly serve his drive-through. I think O'Reilly has made the mistake here of staying out in that group fight, and he's going to drop down the order. Although saying that, Will Friedman, he had major damage to his car. He's gone off. He's got damage somewhere. I'm not sure how he's got the damage, but he stayed out, and he's allowing the cars in front of him to just jump out of his way. So he's using the clean air from the mistake earlier on now to work his way up the order as quickly as he possibly can. Meanwhile, Millington is still ahead of Johnson. Johnson looked to the inside of the penultimate corner, pretty much the final corner, but he has a look. Oh, Johnson rear end steps out. And there in the background also Hooper is under pressure from Tordok. So instead of these two pressurizing the two white cars, they're going to drop behind. And look, O'Reilly staying out for too long has hurt him massively. He's now dropped behind Hooper, Tordok, and now Sylph. So the undercut is massive round here. Absolutely gigantic. Meanwhile, McGowan is on the move. He's trying to hunt down as many cars as he possibly can. We are just past the halfway stage. Now, the thing is, it will now turn the guys who are now at this stage of the race, who are still out on track, who can use now the overcut. Oh, and Johnson and Millington, Hooper and Tordok coming together. And this is exactly what's going to play into the hands of Duffin right now. These guys are all holding each other up. Millington was passed by Duffin. If anything, Duffin could extend the gap as long as he possibly wants and try and gain as much time as he can. Meanwhile, O'Reilly is just catching on to the back of Sylph. Any other fights going on, everyone else is pretty spread out at the minute. But Duffin has decided to pit. In comes Hibbs as well, Friedman in as well. So this is the opportunity they've been looking for. And I think this is a good chance for these guys. Millington, meanwhile, still holding up this train. We went from tipping being the Trulli train. It's now Millington train, this is. Everyone on the board, the Aston Martin train, because at the minute, he's the man holding everything. If anything, Hooper's not been able to catch Johnson either, so not been great for him, as Duffin has gone green. Is he going to get out before these guys? I believe he will. Duffin off the limiter, down towards turn number one. Job done. He is well ahead of Millington, who's gone wide. Hibbs has now come out as well, but Hibbs is going to end up feeding right behind this group of cars, so it worked out beautifully for Duffin. So Duffin now in that clean air, now looking to try and extend the gap as much as he possibly can. Millington is holding everybody up, which he's obliged to do. Actually, I say that Johnson is pulling away with him, and Tordok has finally cleared Hooper, and Hooper's gone wide. He's made a mistake, and Sylph is now up the inside, but he's going to be on the outside for the hairpin, and O'Reilly's just there as well, looking for that opportunity to get past. They're a little bit slow through here. We go on board with Kieran O'Reilly, and he's looking for an opportunity, but there's no clear opportunity, and Sylph goes a little bit deep, compromises wrong. Tordok is loose as well, so he's losing the back end of his Porsche, and all this is just behind Millington. He's actually pulled a little bit of a gap. Hibbs in meanwhile ended up behind Carlos and Friedman. Even though he had major damage from an incident earlier on, he has managed to work his way up. And once again, Johnson a little bit slow out of Nickelbrook there, and Hibbs bouncing on the curb, and once again there's nowhere to go. The two MSA boys passing one another, but not able to pass anyone else. So this is in close racing and fair racing as well. There's no silly incidences at the minute. Hooper looks up the final corner and can't do anything about it. And they're all close to one another. Sylph's gone off. Oh, O'Reilly's gone off. Big time, he's in the wall. O'Reilly's ended up in the wall. I don't know if that's all on his own or not, but he's ended up facing the wrong way. Can he get it going? Yes, he can, but points are being taken away here. Snai and Zdanov will really need to start thinking about pitting soon, as Ramsel ends up... Sorry, no, that's Millington. I got excited. I thought that was Ramsel ahead of this lot, but it's not. It is still Millington ahead of this group. And Stardog also, is that him? Yes, it is. Stardog with a great opportunity there. Has moved up into 15th place position. So some great racing here. I want to say O'Reilly's incident was all on his own. But it's this gaggle of cars. It's now Johnson, the car, holding everyone up. Snai and Zdanov has to pit this lap, as both of them believe come into the pits. We're just waiting for Zdanov to come in. Yes, he is. So they're all into the pits, as Millington now is dropped right off the back of Duffy. Meanwhile, Johnson is under the pressure from Tordok. Tordok is going... Oh, Johnson has to straight line the chicane. He could not make the corner. And now it's a drive-through for him. And he's just struggling now. He's made sure he stays out of the way. But poor Johnson there. And now that's just released everybody else. Hibbs is on the back of Hooper here. And Hooper really under some pressure here. Snai has gone green. Where is Duff? And he's in the final corner now. Will he get Zdanov? I think he might do, as Snai has gone green. So possibly Millington as well might get Zdanov. I think he will. Yes, he will. So Zdanov, if he's got damage or something, he's about to lose out to Millington, and he does. So Millington on for a podium here after defending for his life. He is on par for a podium at the minute, but he has to defend as long as he possibly can. There is Zdanov, and he comes right in the middle of this gaggle of cars, right onto the back of Silth. And Zdanov gone a little wide there. Hooper bouncing over the curb. What else is going on down the pack? There's not else really. Everyone else is fairly spread. McGowan has cleared a couple of cars. Johnson does his drive-through. Everyone else pretty much spread out here. The 63 has cleared his drive-through. Now, can Tordok take the pack with him to hunt down Millington? That is the next thing. Track limits is now the last bit to worry about. They got to get to the very end if they've been taking the limits already. Also pressures, if they've been attacking those curbs, the pressures are going to start to go down, especially in that rear left. The rear left is really going to start taking a pounding. But Tordok now just extending the gap to the rest of the cars. And Zdanov is now become the new train. As also tipping has got O'Reilly, Ramsel and Taylor all breathing down his neck. But bouncing over the curves goes Silth. Millington, though, is being hunted pretty quickly now by the pack. Oh, but you can see Tordok has got that Porsche very, very loose. But Snyder looking comfortable out in front, 10.1 ahead of this man, Matthew Duff, and he's managed to stay out of trouble and work his way through the order. Millington, though, this would be a fabulous job if he can hold on to that P3 position. They're all down towards turn number 2. Clouden, 13th place. He'll be relatively happy with that recovery, to be fair. O'Reilly now onto the back bumper of tipping, head down towards turn number 2. And Lexi's into the pits. O'Reilly possibly damaged the front end of that McLaren. Can't do anything about tipping at this stage. Meanwhile, Tordok and Silth have pulled away from Hibbs. And Hibbs has pulled away from... Zdanov has pulled away from Hooper. It's now Hibbs who's given Hooper a bit of a hard time. Stardog as well, doing a fantastic job just to stick to the back of it. It is Old Sim Racer. Old Sim Racer in 12th place position. A brilliant drive from him at the minute. I thought he was a lap down for some reason, but no. A great job, though. In P12 position, very good to stick with these guys. Snai, I believe, is already coming towards the line. Yes, he is. So we're going to have 2 more laps left to go, unless he decides to slow right down towards his penultimate lap. So 2 laps for Millington to survive with the onslaught of Tordok and Silth. but you can see Sylph is looking very, very racy, right onto the back bumper of Tordok here. And we're going forward with Millington. He's just got to absorb this pressure, take it all in. Tordok trying to find a way through, but they can't. There's nowhere to pass, there's nowhere to go through, and Sylph's up the inside. Is he going to get the job done on Tordok? Yes, he is. Can he keep the momentum going and get past Millington? Normally, the leading car ends up the one not losing out because he's able to take his lines, and the cars behind end up trying to fight it out to then attack, and Millington doing the best job he can. Sylph's going to try and go around the outside of the hairpin, but he's not going to have the grunt in the Ginetta to do so, and the Porsche Tordok now comes back underneath. Now Zdanov's now back onto the group of his cars. This is the beauty of Oulton Park. It is boring to be in a GT3 race because it's very difficult to overtake, but for the GT4s, it is absolutely fantastic. Millington defending for his might, and he's just trying to back up Sylph and Tordok so they fight one another, and it's working at this stage. He's through Nickelbrook up towards the top end of the circuit now. Millington defending for his life here. Snai crosses the line. He will start another lap, so we will keep going. We got one more lap for Millington to survive. I don't know if we've lost Hooper there. Hooper's got missing. Sends it up the inside of the final corner. Millington goes wide. Tordok takes advantage. And Millington, one lap he had to survive, and he lost out. Hooper, I think, has dropped down the order or was gone. Marsden has received a drive-through as well. I'm not sure where Hooper has disappeared. I think he's disconnected, but Hooper has gone. Millington was on for a podium, and he's lost it right at the very end. Not unless Sylph and Tordok end up doing something daft themselves. Meanwhile, in the Baron, Stardog is attacking Will Friedman. But it's all go here. Tipping also under pressure from a few cars. He's got Ramsell, Taylor and McGowan breathing down their neck. Hibbs now under pressure. He was giving pressure earlier on. He's now having to absorb that pressure. Snai, where is he? He's into the final few sectors now. Duffin has started to bring the gap down to him, but not nearly quick enough. Oh, here comes Carlos. He's had a great run through the chicane. He's going to go to the outside, to the second chicane. Can he outbrake the Mercedes? Yes, he can. Has he gone too deep? No, he's managed to get it picked up. And Sylph managing to defend off. But here's the man of the moment. Started on pole position in the Mercedes-Benz. It is going to be Snai who wins the sprint race here at Oulton Park. Brilliant job from him. Matthew Duffin with fastest lap to his name and a podium. Matthew Duffin takes second place. Then it is going to be Sylph, who's fought really hard for this one, but it's going to be Sylph to complete the podium here at Oulton Park. A brilliant job from him. Third for him. Tordok in P4, outscoring O'Reilly. Millington in 5th, Hibbs in 6th, Friedman in 7th, Zdanov in 8th, Carlos 9th, 10th is Stardog. Old Sim Racer hanging in for an 11th place position with Clouden in 12th. O'Reilly, 13th place position in the end. Tipping and Ramsdell coming to the line for 14th, 15th, 16th and 17th. McGowan in 17th. Fernie for that 18th place position. And I believe Hooper did get disconnected, so Fernie will come home for that 18th place position. Johnson, after putting on a great fight, a great show earlier on, looking good for the race, ends up 19th in the end. Vesely in the end in 20th. A real struggle for the BMW, I think, around here. Was really going to be hampered for sure. Marston's going to finish in 21st, Wheel in 22nd, Hooper 23rd, Aberdeen 24th, Lexi 25th, and Clarble never got going with setup issues, but it is Snai who takes the win for the sprint race. What an entertaining race. We will be back in a few moments' time as we head to a quick break. See you in a bit. unmuted the stream, but I didn't unmute my mic. That is genius. So everything I just said was a waste of time. Meanwhile, O'Reilly down towards the hairpin, trying to get a good run out of the hairpin and then slingshot his way over towards the chicane. As he heads towards the chicane, he goes past the bottom, makes a slingshot into the left and into the right. Quite a lot of inside curve there. The car becomes a little bit unsettled by the looks of things as they then head down towards the chicane. Hibbs, meanwhile, looks like he's had a bad lap and he's bailing out. No, that is Leach, sorry, that is Leach out of the way. And into the chicane they go, bouncing over the curb goes O'Reilly. Leach not a lot of lap time on the board, he's not had enough practice, as now O'Reilly now comes towards the line. Over the crest, who has set the pace? We've got Duffin with a 1:41.8. McGowan goes P3, Duffin goes P2, Silth only P4. Tordog drops down the order, so Duffin with a great lap time there, sticking it on pole at the minute. But here comes O'Reilly. It's been relatively clean, relatively fair. Friedman P4, and they're all dropping down as now O'Reilly comes to the line. It's only P3. And Duffin setting the bar there straight away, and he's on the back of Hooper, so this might actually affect his lap time once again. So possibly now might be on an improvement, but he's going to be struggling with those clean air as well. But down towards the far end of the circuit comes Friedman. So with the first first load of laps done, it's still Duffin no fastest from Clouden, O'Reilly, McGowan, Snye, Carlos, Friedman, Silt, Hibbs, Aberdeen, Stardog, Zdanov, Tordok, Ramsel, Fernie and Bestie, and I've still got more lap times to come yet. But we go back towards the front. It is Hooper and Duffin who are on a lap, and Duffin is pretty much pushing Hooper. They will not get another lap time on the board, so this will be it. And Duffin looking good here, looking strong, looking like he's finally found some pace, finally found some confidence. Up the hill he goes. What is Hooper going to do? Is Duffin going to improve? Duffin does not improve, and Hooper only goes to P4. So Snye comes to the line, he goes to P4. Does Clouden improve? Clouden takes pole position away from Duffin. Where is O'Reilly? There he is. As Tordok crosses line, he only goes P5. What's Hibbs going to do? Hibbs goes into P8. Then we got Will Friedman. He goes into P4. Then we got Carlos, only P8 for him. Gary Klarbel, P12. Fernie. As O'Reilly ends up in P3 in the end. Snye goes up into P5. It's the MSA boys dropping further back. Who is left on a lap? I believe it is Millington. Yes, it is. So now Millington coming out of the final corner. And he goes P18 in the end. But it is Jamal Clouden who takes pole position here. He takes the pole, and he's going to be happy with that one indeed. Chris in the chat, hello everyone, Duffin with that lap, and he's here to support Matthew Duffin. But Duffin in the end, not quite taking pole position. That man there is stealing it away from him, and the fight between the guys behind Sylph downwards is really hotting up. Who is going to win this one? This feature race is definitely going to be intense, but Jamal Clouden has done the work. He's put it on pole position. That's pretty much half of the job done. If he can keep confident, keep consistent, and not make any mistakes, you could see him take a win here. Duffin, another great qualifying from him. O'Reilly is going to be right on their heels, though. But O'Reilly's got a championship to think about, so we can't afford too much to fight with these guys. But guys, as well, while you're there watching the channel, And make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified. And while you're in the description as well, have a look at our fantastic sponsors. Design Manchester, producers of vinyl, graphics, laser engraved gifts, printed clothing, and much, much more, including SimPlay Motorsport merch. Head over to their Facebook link, which is in the description. Let's make sure all the drivers make the grid this time. Audiosport, Volkswagen, manufacturer Volkswagen T4 audio solutions, styling products, and much more. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk and follow the Facebook link as well. And Audiosport has a YouTube channel as well. That is that. And we are now going to get underway and racing here once again. Lexi has not made the start, but it's going to be Jamal Clouden to lead them away. So this is going to be it. Who is going to be the one to beat? John Goudet also getting into the server as well as Gary Leach. But it is Chevy on the front row with the Mercedes-Benz of Duffin with him as well. And I'm pretty sure these two are probably in a party together anyway. But it's going to take a while. So we see the first MSA driver. There it is, Silth with Tordok together, who they worked relatively well to work their way through the order. We'll see how these guys will all get on with this feature race. 45-minute race, pit stop required. And like I said, we're coming down to the championship end of the season. Just as these guys go into turn 3, the guys at the back of the pack have only now got towards the back, the long straight. And Marsden as well gone back to the pit lane. But it's going to be Jamal Clouden versus Duffin for the start of this race. And what an exciting race. Oulton Park has already produced a fantastic sprint race. Are we going to produce a fantastic feature race as well? It is going to be all eyes to the front. O'Reilly, though, pretty much just needs to stay out of trouble, score some decent points, and start slowly working his way to that championship, as Clouden has decided he does not want the tyres in the way. He wants to be able to see clearly where he's going. And let's see how Clouden gets on this one. Gave votes in on who you think is going to win this one, guys. It's going to be fought right to the bitter end, I think, this one. As they now come into the final sector, we are going to get underway. 2 more races still yet to go in this championship. We got Oulton Park to finish off, then we've got Watkins Glen, and then we have the final race of the season. A lot of drivers are looking forward to this one. It is going to be Donington Park, the final round, the home of SimPlay Motorsport. And we're about to get racing here at SimPlay Motorsport. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go racing for the final time tonight for the GT4s. Clouden versus Duffin. Who is going to come out on top? That is the question, as we are now waiting for the green lights. We are green and go, and Zdanov gets a drive through for jumping the start, but Clouden gets the jump he needed as he heads towards tire number 1, and O'Reilly already been swamped by Friedman, and Silf is looking to the outside and can't quite get the job done. Meanwhile, everyone else, there is contact there. I think Zdanov is one of them, and who is the other one? It's a red car, I believe it's possibly, I'm not sure, it's Stardog. Oh, and Zdanov hits Marston as he comes out of the pit lane. So all those guys managing to get themselves underway and racing. It is Clouden leading away, and O'Reilly has lost out to Friedman. And Friedman now already pressurising the top 2. Friedman has got a fantastic race pace in whatever car he's in, whether it's the 992 or the, I believe it's the 718. Cayman. He has got a brilliant race pace, and always watch out for that, because he will really be pushing the guys in front, as Duffin already tries to look up the inside. A bit daring there and a bit optimistic, I think, and probably actually hindered them more than anything. But everyone else has managed to get going. There is a white flag further down. Who is it? It is Vesely, who's made a mistake by the list. There's a yellow flag as well for it's Marsden, who's not moved. He's staying where he is. Zdanov has got going again. Who's that stopped? I'm not sure who stopped there. Is it Klarball? Yes, it is. Klarball has come to a stop as well, so he's had a bad start to this race. But it's Jamal Clouden leading the way from Duffin, from Friedman, from O'Reilly, from Silt, from Snye, from Tordock, from Carlos, from McGowan, from Hibbs. And then we go back to Fernie, Aberdeen, Millington, Leach, Taylor, Ramsell, Hooper, Old Sim Racer, Johnson, the Tipping, Wheel, Goudet, Vesely, Stardog, Zdanov and Klarball. Marston parked up at the side of the road. Either he needs to retire to the pits or get going. But Duffin, meanwhile, under some immense pressure from Friedman, already trying to put some pressure on the Mercedes driver. This is just allowing Clouden to just build a little bit of a gap that he needs as Hooper's coming to the pits already. And they'll work their way through the chicane. Duffin looks like he's pulled a little bit of a gap away from Friedman. Meanwhile, what else is going on? Hibbs is on the back of McGowan, and that looks like it's Carlos passing Tordock around the outside. Yes, it is. So Tordock now losing another position. He's been hit in the back by McGowan there. McGowan backs off and allows Tordock to regroup and reposition, and Hibbs gets close to him as well. Any other opportunities for drivers? No, everyone else is relatively spread out. As Leach also making moves, he's now got past Taylor and is now looking to chase down Millington. Or as we see there, Carlos goes a little bit wide. Tordock, though, is having to defend from McGowan, and he's got quite a bit of a gap there, so he's quite happy to keep going as he is. But it is Clouden leading him off still. There's Tordock, though, he seems to be under quite a bit of pressure. McGowan really starting to give him a bit of a headache here with Hibbs just behind him. And Marston's still not gone back to pit lane. But the leaders all close to one himself, just slowly coming on about Snye with some decent pace. He's sticking with the leaders as well and probably learning quite a bit of lines from them as well. Meanwhile, we look back to Leach, who's got Millington just ahead of him. And Gary Leach does love a good British circuit, we know that. And he's already trying to give Millington a hard time. He's looking to possibly get a move. He had a better exit out of the corner, but no opportunities going into the chicane. Still top six, all close to each other. 5 different manufacturers in the top 5, with Chevrolet, Mercedes, Porsche, McLaren and Ginetta all in the top 6, and another Mercedes to join them. Carlos now just dropping off the back, and Tordock not able to go with the guys in front, so he's just struggling with pace at the minute. Fernie to the head of Aberdeen, Millington and Leach. As that's a still close little battle from those guys. Goudet has cleared wheel, and he's now on his way to catch the rest of the pack. We've got Zdanov, Hooper and Marston all in the pit lane. But once again, Duffin just dropping off the back of Clouden at the minute, starting to look more in his mirrors towards Friedman. O'Reilly has now just dropped off the back a little bit, but don't be fooled. Some of these guys might be playing it a little bit more conservative. As Friedman gets very close to Duffin, manages to pull out of it and avoid going onto the grass and losing more time. But very, very close to the back of Duffin there was Friedman. Meanwhile, McGowan, there we go, Leach in the background. Meanwhile, has just got past Millington. Millington bouncing all over the grass, has managed to get back on circuit relatively clean and fair, and just ahead of Taylor as well. But all those guys just understeering Taylor with that brilliant Ginetta turning Nearly got up the inside of Millington, but not this case. Millington managed to hang in, and Ramsell now onto the back of Taylor. As Ramsell going to look for an opportunity. He's kind of looking for a good exit through the chicane to really then attack the car in front. So now Duffin's pulled away from Freedman. He's back onto the rear of Jamal Clouden. But still Tordock trying to absorb all this Mercedes grunt between Hibbs and McGowan. And through the right-hander, there you go. Into the final corner as well. No real movement here. We look down towards Millington, who's once again under pressure from Taylor, who hasn't quite got the straight line in at Ginetta to get the run, as O'Reilly now sets fastest lap of the race, and he is back onto the back of Freedman. Silf again just dropping off the back of the guys at the minute, and he's still got Snai in his tracks, following him and going with him at the minute. As you see there, Clouden runs a little bit wide. That's giving possibly Duffin a sniff of an opportunity, seeing that the Camaro is possibly weak at this stage. But Jamal Clouden's going to fight this to the bitter end. I think he wants a win this season. I don't know if he's had a win this season in the GT4s, but he's going to give it a very good go. Benny says, have I missed another lot of races again? Sprint was very good. Start of this has been interesting as well. But there's a three-way fight for the lead at the moment, as O'Reilly's just off the back of these guys, as Tordock still under some immense pressure from McGowan. McGowan can't just seem to get the run that he needs. Meanwhile, Leach has pulled away from Ramsell. We've lost Millington where he is. So Millington dropping down the order. He's dropped behind Johnson. Taylor's gone down with him as well. So something's happened there towards the back end of the pack. Not sure exactly what. But once again, as Clouden was starting to get pressure from Duffin, Duffin cuts onto the back of him. Freedman goes with him, and now Freedman is attacking Duffin, and Duffin has to change from attack to defense. He goes to the right-hand side, and Freedman thinks better of it, has to try and get a better exit and possibly send it into turn number one. And once again, this gives Clouden the opportunity to breathe and pull away. We've got a yellow flag. That is obviously a car returning to the pits. Once again, we see Tordock and Hibbs. They're just looking like... Tordock is holding off McGowan and Hibbs. And they've just kind of decided just to settle in and get comfortable. Maybe use Tordock for the straight line and catch the rest of the pack. Everyone else, meanwhile, is relatively spread out, except for Stardock and Vesely. They're quite close to one another. And there we see Freedman looking up the inside of Duffin, going into the hairpin. And once again, that just allows O'Reilly just to creep a little bit more onto the back of the guys in front. Silf, meanwhile, has no answer for these guys. Well, might as well sit in the pits then, as I have missed another round. Second week in a row. Bloody Australian time suck. That's a shame, Benny. That's a real shame. I think he has got into the survey. Yes, he has. So, poor Benny, Australian times have really affected his schedule. Duffin there making a slight mistake as Freedman tries to get a little bit closer to Matthew Duffin. He gets close, but then can't do anything with it. The other SimPlay racing car, Leach, is under pressure from Ramsell, and Ramsell's just... Again, no real threat from him. There's no real other opportunities happening for anyone else. It is primarily this fight at the minute, and Freedman's had a great run out at the final corner. Duffin has to go defensive, and Freedman gets very, very close to him. Try and get the better exit. And now Freedman looks to the outside. He's going to be outside of the next corner. And Duffin really trying to stop him to get any advantage, but Freeman tries to cut back underneath, and Clouden's going to be sitting there laughing his head off, because as this is happening, he's pulling away. And Freeman looking left, looking right, and he can't find a way through as Duffin defends for his life. O'Reilly, though, looking just as interested Friedman trying everything he possibly can. We're on board with O'Reilly, and Duffin once again kicking up the dust. You see there Friedman avoiding the curbs, seems to be working for him, loses a little bit of traction though as Duffin pulls away. So it seems like the middle sector, Duffin has just got that little edge, and with those guys fighting, Silt once again has just creeped onto the back of him with Snide with him. Tordok meanwhile has managed to maintain the gap to McGowan and Hibbs, and they've managed to just start to creep in Carlos once again. Meanwhile Leach still ahead of Ramsel. Ramsel's going to try and hunt him down and give him a fight towards the end. Taylor and Millington also close to one another. Stardog under pressure from Goudet. And Hooper back in pit lane. Obviously not happy once again as Jamal Clouden has extended the gap near enough to 2 seconds. Comes to the line now. 1.7 was the gap in the middle sector. It is now 1.7 once again. So he's just been matched in the final sector by Duffin. Oh, and Duffin has a moment there through turn 1. That's going to compromise him down towards turn 2. But Friedman probably thinking, no, I can't do, I'm not close enough. He thinks about the inside. No opportunities there for him. And Will Friedman now trying everything he possibly can to get Duffin to make more of a mistake. It's really tricky to overtake here. 1.8 is the gap now to Duffin and Clouden. That's how much Duffin is having to defend. Clouden is now starting to eat that gap out. Through the chicane they go. And there you just see where Duffin just able to carry more curb. Obviously that is going to hurt his tyres. He may start to lose pressure in one of the tyres if he takes too much curb. Snide meanwhile is doing a fantastic job just sitting on the back of this group. He's the only silver driver, as we see in the background. Vesely having a big moment there and going off in the far end of the circuit. But once again Tordok has just bit by bit creeped onto the back of Carlos. He's brought McGowan with him. Hibbs is just about there. And again, everyone else pretty spread out at this stage of the race. But the main entertainment is the way of Duffin and Friedman. How long can Duffin keep this up? Can he keep this going for another 31 minutes? That's the question. Another slide from him. He's really pushing that Mercedes-Benz at the minute, as Friedman is looking for any opportunity. Down towards turn number 2 we go. Jamal Clouden, no, just ahead. He's managed to just maintain the gap. He's not managed to pull away, but he's managing to maintain that gap to the rest of the guys behind. Duffin there really cautious through that left-hander. O'Reilly's gone a little bit deep and Silth is there with him, but you see there O'Reilly cuts back to the apex of the corner. A lot of dirt there kicked up, and I believe that's possibly from Duffin. Into the chicane they go. Beautifully done by Friedman. He manages to negotiate the chicane without hitting the curbs, which is a challenge on its own. A lot of the drivers would like to take the curbs. Obviously again, that just damages the tyre. Okay, McGowan now has just dropped right off the back of Tordok, and Hibbs is now giving him a hard time as Tordok is now racing Carlos, who might have a fight going on here. Again, no real other threats to keep an eye on. These top 3 look like they have unfinished business from race 1. Top 3 just really going at it at the minute. We see Tordok trying to stick with Carlos. These guys just had no answer for the guys in front. And again, Friedman gets really close to the back of Duffin. Over the line they go, and again, Clouden's just maintaining that gap. Oh, he's gone wide though. Duffin's made a slight mistake, and that's given Friedman a sniff of an opportunity, but Matt stays right in the middle of the circuit. But he's right on the curve, and Friedman's had a great run. He's had a great opportunity, and Duffin defends the inside. Well, he's slap bang in the middle of the circuit. And once again, with all this going on, Clouden pulls ahead, and O'Reilly gets very close to the back of Freeman to the point he has to pull out of it. So Freeman's now learned that Duffin is struggling in the first sector. He's massively struggling in the first sector, and that is where he's able to just possibly get an opportunity on it. But Duffin, at the meantime, is also very mighty in the middle sector. They seem to match one another in the final. But with all that going on, Jamal Clouden has pulled away to nearly 2 seconds, and he's sitting there thinking, come on boys, just keep batting out, keep going so I can just keep pulling away. Obviously Clouden will probably look to extend the gap as much as he possibly can. Clean air is king here, and it's basically 2.4 is the gap, with Matt fighting so hard he's lost out here. Meanwhile, Torok, after catching Carlos, just has no answer now. He's just suddenly just hit a wall as he's got close to Torok, and that is it. I believe the pit window will be opening very shortly. As Friedman looks like he's got an overlap on Duffin. Possibly so, as they now head up towards turn number 1. He's going to try and send it into turn number 1. Duffin's going to try and keep it pinned around the outside. Contact made! And O'Reilly pushes him round. Silph's off, Friedman's off, and here comes Snai. Friedman waiting for Duffin, waiting for him. And Friedman lets him go. So Duffin off of the podium now. That's given O'Reilly the podium, as has Snai. Silph obviously dropping behind them because they're all trying to regroup after that contact made by Friedman. And Torok's now right on the back of Duffin. He's going to send up the inside of Duffin. Oh, more contact is made. And they're all congested right up. McGowan's there, Friedman's there, Hibbs is there. They're all congested up by Duffin. And again, Torok a little optimistic, I think, in the hairpin. It was worth a go, but I think it was a dollar short there, I think. But either way, that's just allowed Jamal Clouden to pull away. The gap is now 5 seconds, I think, between him and O'Reilly, or 4.5. So it's not comfortable just yet. He's still got O'Reilly, who's possibly going to hunt him down. But Snai, can he hold on to a third place position outright for the silver driver? Carlos, staying out of trouble, has managed to get 5th. Duffin ends up splitting the Porsches now, as a few drivers are in the pits. There's Taylor, Goudet, Vesely, Zdanov, Hooper and Archer. Oh, well, most of them were already in the pit lane anyway. And Hibbs flashing Friedman there flashing the lights at Hibbs. Not sure why. Is Friedman going to opt to pit? Hibbs does. Friedman stays out. So I think Friedman wanted to pit there, but because Hibbs pitted as well, he has to stay out and try and use a little bit of clean air. Meanwhile, Duffin, instead of Friedman now, he's got a different Porsche up his backside. He has got Torok giving him a hard time. Meanwhile, Snai is under pressure from Silph. As also O'Reilly now with the clean air, with Duffin and Friedman out of the way. 4.1, 6/10s taken out of Clouden already, which is really going to hurt him. Meanwhile, Duffin's still defending off Torok. McGowan's there and Friedman. Hibbs might be genius here. He might have played a brilliant card here. Don't mind me. Just the safety car ready to be upgraded into the game, says Archer in the chat. But still there, just holding off, Snai just holding off Silph at this stage. But still, we've got this 5 minutes. Vesely, though, is a lapped car. This is going to really hurt these guys. And I think this is where Hibbs has played a blinder. Is he in clear air? Yes, he is on his own here. With that early stop as well, he's possibly going to jump maybe this group of cars. It depends how easy they get through this section. And have a look, Hibbs is in the far end of the circuit. So he could possibly, if Clouden pit now, he would be in relatively clean air, I think, as well. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Vesely, meanwhile, it's got a lot of cars. McGowan now pits. This is going to be interesting to see now. McGowan pits, so that one lap of being stuck behind Duffin. And Tordok goes wide. Vesely now has got Tordok right behind him. He's going to have to possibly get out of the way very, very soon, and it's going to have to be down the straight. I think he's going to have to pull to the left-hand side and let these cars go, and he does brilliantly. So brilliant job there from Vesely. Let's find Hibbs. Here he is. He's in the far end of the circuit. McGowan is still in the pits. He's not gone green yet, but Hibbs, I think he's played a blinder here. Meanwhile, leaders, Tordok, leaders, Clouden versus O'Reilly. 3.7 is the gap, and Silth has got Snai. So we have missed that, so Snai's dropped down the order. Carlos now trying to hunt him down. It's now Friedman now attacking Tordok. So Tordok went from attacking to now defending. Leach now pressurizing Aberdeen as well, so still fights happening up and down the order. McGowan has gone green. Where is he? He's behind Hibbs, and Hibbs has pulled a blinder here. I still think he could jump ahead of Duffin here. If Duffin don't react soon enough, I think Hibbs is going to be ahead of him. Meanwhile, O'Reilly's lost time here. 4.1 is the gap, and Jamal Clouden just keeping it smooth and consistent. Wheel trying to get out of the way of Sylph. Here comes Snide just behind him. Wheel staying to the left-hand side of the circuit and comes into the pits. Carlos goes through. Duffin carries on through. Tordok now pits. Get it slowed down, get it stopped. He just does. Meanwhile, Aberdeen under some immense pressure from Gary Leach. They both come into the pits. Whoever can get their stops done the quickest, that is the question. But O'Reilly still trying to hunt down Jamal Clouden. And I think O'Reilly's had problems lapping cars. No, he's still made a couple of attempts here on Jamal Clouden. Still's pulled away from Snai now. But Carlos is going to give Snai a hard time. Now towards the far end of the circuit, Carlos now wanting to put some pressure onto the back of Snai. Already Friedman has caught back up to Duffin once again after that contact. Tordok has gone green and he's been released. Where is Hibbs? Hibbs is only now into turn one, so Tordok, that one couple of laps that he needed, or has he not changed tyres? I don't think Tordok's changed tyres. I think Hibbs has possibly changed tyres, as is McGowan. This is a circuit that you could possibly hang in there. Oh, is that McGowan, Hibbs gone off? No, it's Wheel that's gone off. I thought it was Hibbs for a second. Oh, O'Reilly's dropped down the order. O'Reilly's made a mistake. O'Reilly's Oulton Park is getting from bad to worse. Not sure what happened, but he's got a mistake. He's got damage also to his car. Possible lapped car, maybe. Clouden's in as Silth and Snai carry on through. Carlos now into the pits as well. Duffin choosing to finally pit as Friedman carries on through. O'Reilly now comes through, so Tordok could be in a good opportunity here. Where I thought obviously he'd be jumped by Hibbs, he's going to struggle with grip if he's not changed those tyres. Hibbs has changed tyres, it's clear to that. There's about a 5-second gap, so that's about right. This could get very interesting towards the end of this race if Tordok has not changed those tyres. So, Jamal Clouden's in. There is Tordok. Clouden has now gone green, so he's still the net leader, and Carlos has gone green as well. So Carlos should come back out of the pits ahead of Tordok, and he does. And he gets quite close to Clouden, actually. So I think Carlos, once again, another driver that's opted not to change the tyres. Where is Tordok? He's gone through turn number one, and Duffin has been jumped by him. There is Hibbs, and Hibbs has changed tyres. I think Duffin has changed tyres as well. And Hibbs has ended up right behind Duffin. So he ended up at the front end of this train. But I think the MSA boys are risking a non-tyre change on a circuit that you cannot overtake. Silth and Snai, meanwhile, still lead. Friedman is going as far as he possibly can into this one. And I think possibly Friedman is going to be very tight for pit lane. He's probably better off just coming into the pits now. as O'Reilly's back on track. He's ended up ahead of Aberdeen. McGowan and Hibbs have ended up ahead of him, so O'Reilly's race has gone from bad to worse, and I think Friedman is risking it. I think Friedman's made a mistake here. Unless he's, I don't know what lap times there. 141 was qualifying. Oh, that is pushing it. I think Friedman's made a mistake. I think he's not going to make the pit lane. Oh, Carlos has had a big moment. He's in the wall. Major damage to that car. And another driver falls down. Betting in the chat said Clouden doing it well for the Chevy drivers. Indeed he is. And Carlos with big damage to his car. Is he coming straight to the pits? Oh, I think he's going to try and endure it as best he can. But he is then going to become a mobile chicane. I don't know if Tordok is going to be able to get past him. Gude is a lap down and trying to find a way through. Who is that? That's Snai. So Snai has come out ahead still of Carlos. And where's Sylph? Sylph's jumped Jamal Clouden. So the MSA boys, including Sylph, I think have not changed the tyres. Oh, this is going to be interesting, I think. Meanwhile, it's the battle of the Mercedes-Benz. Duffin, Hibbs, and McGowan all close to one another. But Sylph, I don't think has changed the tyres, which I think it's still going to get him a podium, but I really don't think he's going to be able to keep back that Camaro. I really don't, but we shall see. And I said Friedman wouldn't make it to pit lane. He didn't. And he's going to get a penalty coming this way because he did not make the pit stop. Unless it proves him wrong and he goes green. It must have been very, very, very tight if he had. Duffin, meanwhile, with the fresh tyres. As there you can see, Carlos has already let Tordok through. So Carlos is damaged. Big, major. And he's now just dropping down the order. He's going to have Duffin, Hibbs, and McGowan coming at him very, very quickly. Meanwhile, you can see already Sylph is under pressure from Jamal Clouden. I myself tried this strategy back at, I can't believe where I did it, Nürburgring. Tried this strategy. It did not work. Fresh tyres seems to be better. Even in these GT4s, especially on a circuit like this, I still think that the fresh tyres will be better. Snai, though, looking very good, though, in that P3 position. A brilliant drive from him at this stage. But Carlos, you can see there, is being hunted by the Mercedes-Benz now. Will Freeman has pitted. He's about to come out of pit lane. I think he's staying there, actually. I'm not sure why he's there. So Friedman's staying in pit lane. He's dropping down the order massively. I'm going to see if there's anything in the chat. I can't see anything why Friedman's in pit lane. He's staying there for as well. So meanwhile, Sylph still defending heavily from Jamal Clouden. Clouden's got to be patient. He's just got to wait for that prime opportunity. He's going for it. He's looking up the inside. Sylph just about gives him room, but Clouden trying too hard here. He has made a mistake. He can regroup and go again. I think Clouden just needs to keep putting the pressure on Sylph. He does not need to try. So he's got 15 minutes here. Carlos, meanwhile, has got Duffin right behind him now. McGowan's dropped off of this group, and Duffin now already attacking Carlos up the inside, but thinks better of it. Carlos goes wide. Duffin has to tap the brakes as Carlos is struggling. He stays to the inside of the circuit. Duffin has got the job done relatively easy, and up a position he goes. For me, Clouden just has to be sensible here. He does not need to over push that car. Clouden knows exactly where that Camaro will be strong. Meanwhile, Leach is ahead of old Sim Racer. Vesely has dropped behind Clarball as Friedman's still in pit lane. So is Danov, Hooper, Marston and Archer, all those guys in pit lane. But Silth and Clouden going at it at this stage of this race. I really don't think changing tyres, staying on those tyres was a good idea. Done it myself, had one go at it this season at the Nürburgring on a circuit that I thought I knew very well, and just got absolutely mugged. And obviously this is a great test for the guys who are doing GT3s as well. Not only are the GT4s struggling with tyres, the GT3s will definitely struggle around here. Meanwhile, Hibbs is now on to the back of Carlos. We will come back to that fight in a few moments' time, but we look to this fight towards the front. Silth is going to be sliding like mad. And once again, Jamal Clouden, he wants that win. I don't think he's won at all this season. Oh, and you can hear Silth's car just screeching, trying to get grip. Meanwhile, Carlos under pressure from Hibbs and McGowan. Here they come. Hibbs, is he going to do a late dart towards turn one? No, he doesn't. He stays pretty behind. And again, Hibbs can't quite get the run. Now, Silth to the inside. Jamal Clouden going to try and go around the outside of turn three. They go at it. Jamal Clouden's got the inside for then the next corner. Silth's going to try and outbrake the Camaro, and he just hangs on. Great respect and driving from these two, but Clouden's still there. He's still up the inside, but Silth will keep the position. You can see how Clouden can take more curb. And again, he has to regroup. He has to make another decision on how he's going to try and get through. Meanwhile, Duffin has caught Tordok. That's how much he's struggling with those tyres. Tordok, Carlos, Silth, all chose not to change the tyres, and they're in trouble. They're in deep trouble. Carlos is off with the damage as well. Hibbs goes through. McGowan goes through. O'Reilly's next to hunt him down. Where is Tordok? There he is. This has put a real diversity into this race. Tordok now, top four, possibly going to drop to fifth because Duffin has got those fresh tyres. He's got the confidence to attack, while Tordok doesn't. Once again, Silth has just done enough to keep Clouden behind. Clouden is pressurizing the Ginetta. There, Silth runs wide. A mistake there once again from Silth. Those tyres, every lap that he pushes and defends hard, he's losing grip. And again, Tordok runs wide. So Duffin gets an opportunity. This is the problem with tyres. Unless you've got a big gap, it's not going to work. Jamal Clouden, once again, 310. On a circuit like this strategy really does open up. But I do think later on in this race, they've still got 11 minutes to go, and they're struggling this much. Look, O'Reilly's already caught Carlos. Yes, they both have damage, and Carlos is struggling with damage on top of this. But the tyres is not helping him either. You can see there's just no grip from that Porsche, and he's going to lose traction. And he's backed off, and O'Reilly's got the job done. And there, once again, Clouden is on the back of Silth. Tordok under pressure from Duffin. This is not often what we see from the MSA boys. They're the ones giving pressure. They're the ones now taking the pressure. Oh, and you can see there, Tordok bouncing off the curb. Clouden needs to set up this Ginetta perfectly. He goes back to the outside. He wants to get the traction. He wants to get the grip for turn number one. He's got that. He's got a great run, but it's not enough to get the overlap into turn number one, I don't think. Through turn number one we go again. Clouden doing everything he can. He's pretty much pushing the Ginetta around. Meanwhile, Tordok still got Duffin ahead of him. Hibbs, meanwhile, is pulling away from McGowan, so great job from him to pull away. Carlos, meanwhile, is to start under pressure from Ramsel, who's starting to hunt him down. Oh, Silth, a big slide. Very big slide there from turn number two from Silth. This good opportunity for Clouden. He gets really close. Oh, Silth looking a little bit laggy there as well. Or is that just me? I think Silth looking a little bit laggy. And I think Clouden's backed off due to the lag. I know he lagged because of me, but from my view, he looked like he lagged. So I don't know, Still's probably got some internet issues that seems to be helping him. Snai actually is catching these two. 3.4 is the gap. As these two keep fighting, Snai is slowly working his way back into this fight. Torok with no answer with the guys in front, obviously due to the fact that they've not changed the tyres. Oh, Silves might be under pressure here. This might be the opportunity that Clouden needs. He's got enough of an overlap. No, not quite. But once again, Silv's internet is bouncing all over the shot. And I think that's what's surviving him at the minute. Clouden's too scared to attack because his internet is bouncing. You can see it going up on our screens. Silv's internet is not happy at the minute. Duffin, meanwhile, still putting pressure onto the back of Torok. Torok goes wide. Oh, and he defends the inside, but Duffin's possibly got enough of an overlap. Silver's internet is properly peaking up now. It's properly going up. Duffin's going to try and go around the outside of turn number 1. Again, a bit optimistic. Oh, Torok has a big slide, a big moment. Oh, there goes Silv. Silv's off. So Jamal Clouden managing to get up the inside, and Silv has managed to keep it going, but he's not lost out to Clouden. He's now lost out to Snai, but he will hang on to that P3 position, I think. But Snai losing out there. Torok, meanwhile, still under some immense pressure from Duffin. There's some great racing here. Meanwhile, Millington is under pressure from Taylor, who's got Stardog just behind him as well. And I think Carlos is still being hunted down by Rams. No, not quite. So Ramsel not able to really attack Carlos, but Taylor's now onto the back of Millington. 7 minutes left to go. Snai, meanwhile, has brought the gap down to 2.7 to Jamal Clouden, but I think Clouden now will extend that gap. Number 8, that is Goudet. Goudet is now taking a drive-through there. Oh, Torok's gone round. Torok has gone round the 313. That is Gary Leach drive-through for track limits. That is O'Reilly through, extends championship lead once again, and Carlos now comes onto the back of Torok. So Duffin now back up to P4. 4.7 to catch Silv towards the end on old tyres. Now a little bit dirty from being on the grass. Could he do it? I don't know. It's a big ass, but Jamal Clouden leads the way and now starts to extend from Snai. So let's go back to this fight with Millington and Taylor. 8, the drive-through has been completed. There goes Taylor up the inside of Stephen Millington, but Stephen Millington still turns in and Taylor spins him round. I think Millington, that is on you. He was far enough alongside. I think that's on you, buddy, on that one. As we're now coming to the end of this race, Millington has lost out to Taylor. Taylor's just pulled away instantly. And I think another driver suffering with those old tyres. He maybe not pitted. Meanwhile, Duffin clearing the traffic. There is Silv. I don't think Duffin's going to catch him in time. So we get a driver of the day poll going in a few moments' time. But this man, other than losing the lead to Silv, Jamal Clouden has pretty much had this race under control. And that's all we had to do. He had to just be patient. So make sure you guys get as many votes in for driver of the day as you can. Oh, Oh, Clouden, don't make a mistake now. This is not the time. The driver of the day pole has now gone out as Hibbs has lost. It's now starting to lose time to McGowan, and McGowan's also losing times to O'Reilly. So those guys right to the very end now just struggling. Tordok has pulled away from Carlos, and Ramsdell has slowly caught onto the back of it. Aberdeen's gone with him, and Leach, after, if he hadn't had this drive-through, he would have been there to fight them as well. Oh, as we see, Vessi's trying to stay out of the way. Sylph is actually catching Snai a little bit here. So Sylph is actually matching, I think, Clouden's pace. 4.5 is the gap between him and Duffin. Duffin on fresh tyres. 4.5. Yeah, no, I don't think it's enough. I don't think Matt is going to get a podium here for the second race. But either way, Ramsdell is catching Carlos, who's really struggling. Damaged car and worn tyres. It's not panned out for him. And their wheel stays out of the way. There is Ramsdell catching him now. Stardog has now also caught onto the back of Millington. He's looking into the chicane. Millington staying ahead. This is where you're starting to see the drivers who are struggling for a grip. Really struggling. We've decided not to take the tyres. Meanwhile, McGowan and Hibbs all close to one another, with O'Reilly just in the foreground. Carlos is now under pressure from Ramsdell, so Carlos just hanging in there for a top 10 position. Gary Leach has finally cleared his drive-through. Where does it put him? Behind Aberdeen, so he ends up dropping to 13th place position. So there's Ramsdell now onto the back of Carlos. Carlos just surviving now. I think he's just trying to get to the very end of this race. And as I said earlier on, I don't think Duffin is going to get near Sylph towards the end here. Come on, guys, get your votes in for driver of the day. But Clouden now managing the gap, 5.1. 2 seconds has come down for Sylph. Can he get Snai right to the very end? It's going to be asking a lot, because they're going to be starting their final out. Duffin took in a second out. And if anything, these boys have caught onto the back of Duffin. Tordok, no answer, but it's now Carlos under pressure from Ramsdell. Millington also attacking, being attacked by Stardog. O'Reilly there just extending his championship a little bit more with Tordok behind him. And there to the outside, Ramsdell goes. Tries to get a better exit, but can't do so. We lost Will Friedman in the end. I think there was some issue with his game or something. I'm not sure why. But Millington looking left, looking right. Sorry, Ramsdell. Millington's also defending, sorry. Stardog is not quite close enough at this stage. You know, Hibbs and McGowan all close to one another. But it's Ramsdell who's the man on the attack. He's looking to Carlos on the inside of the left-hander. Not quite close enough there. Not a great overtaking opportunity either. But where is Jamal Clouden? There he is. Again, like I said, I don't think he's had a win this season in the GT4s. I will get the stats up so I can see if he has or hasn't. But he is on his way. He has not had a win this season. His best result is a second, I believe. Yeah, no win to his name this season. And it's taken him this long. It's taken him to round 10, race 20, the feature race. Jamal Clouden, brilliant drive from him. He now gets the win. Clouden wins round 20 of the season here at Oulton Park. Snai with a fantastic drive for second place. Brilliant stuff from him. Sylph is going to take that third place position. Duffin finishing just outside the podium for fourth. Hibbs for fifth. McGowan sixth. O'Reilly for seventh. Brilliant driving from all those guys. Toro gambled with the tyres. It has not worked. 8th place for him, but it is knowledge that he will take into the GT3 race later on this week. Carlos just hangs in there for P9, Ramsel in P10 position. Old Sim Racer, solid drive from him in 11th place position, with Aberdeen in 12th. Leachinian finishing in 13th place position ahead of Johnson. Meanwhile, the leading silver driver went the way of Snai. He takes that ahead of Hibbs. So those guys having a great performance. Johnson crosses the line for 14th. Taylor is going to come home for that 15th place position. Millington, in the end, has just managed to hold off Stardog right up to the very end. Benny and the Chat saying, good job, Clouden, doing it for, obviously, the Chevy boys. There goes the 16 and 17 drivers. Fernie, a lonesome 18th in this one, really struggled. Clarbo, in the end, finishing in 19th place position, the highest bronze driver ahead of Tipping. Vesely finishing in 21st position, Goudet in that 22nd, and Will 23rd. Zdanov, Hooper, Marston, and obviously Archer. We won't count Archer because he missed the start anyway. All those guys retiring from the race. But it is Jamal Clouden who finally gets that off his back. He has now got a win to his name, and I'm pretty sure he is very happy with that one. Come on, guys, get your votes in for driver of the day. There's been some brilliant drives tonight. Up and down the grid. I actually have got one in mind already, and I think he definitely deserves it. He's definitely punching against a lot of the guys that he wouldn't normally be racing up against. But we have got two of the podium guys now with us in the chat, and we'll start with Matthew Duffin. Matt, are you there? Are you able to speak?
Yeah.
Let's obviously start about this season in general. This season for yourself has been probably one of your hardest seasons you've ever had at SimPlay. The car has not really been there for you at times. Obviously, the racing line been taken away. It's a new challenge for yourself. How's the season been in general? Because it looked like it's been a hard one for yourself.
Yeah, it's been a mixed season. Been happy at times, been annoyed at times, frustrated with drivers, frustrated with myself. So it's been an up and down season. Like I say, I've normally raced with the racing line on as like a comfort thing, but that's been removed this year. So that was the biggest change to adapt to. Sorry, I'm just inputting the results while I'm doing this. That was the biggest change to adapt to, and it was tough to get used to. And yeah, we struggled with it, but we persevered. It's not been the season we wanted, especially trying to defend the championship, but mixed bags, I'd say.
Obviously, coming to Oulton Park, a British circuit. Obviously, the British circuits fairly well due to touring cars. Previous seasons we've done on project cars, and obviously here as well. What was your thoughts actually coming into Oulton Park? I know it's not one of your favourites of the British circuits, but still, it is a British circuit, and you have a fond feelings towards British circuits. Just what was the mindset coming in?
Well, the car felt lovely, I remember, from last season. We had 40 kilograms, and we took the race win in, I think, the third race of the day. The car felt brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic. So I kind of felt confident, felt good, happy last night. Bit of testing, I managed to get in last night. And felt reasonably comfortable. I didn't really do any low fuel runs. I just kind of made sure the setup felt good, made sure that the tyre pressures were there, and it was an interesting sort of track to feel really comfortable on, especially when you look at the tracks we've had this season.
Obviously, the sprint race, you ended up on the podium, a hard-fought race as well. Obviously, working your way through the pack, there seemed to be a lot of drivers having issues and incidents, and for once, you were the one who was avoiding all of them. Obviously, the majority of the season, you've ended up in incidences, but it must have been absolutely chaotic working your way through the pack.
There was some sketchy moments there, let me tell you, especially coming through the hairpin. There was a car off left, a car off right, and one had span sort of on the right-hand side, which was blocking two cars, so I managed to stay left and take the high line around the hairpin. It was a very sketchy moment. But we got through it. We, just put the laps together. Unfortunately for us, Rodnov and Snai them being decent drivers starting towards the front with being late entries. That's the way it works. They pulled the gap at the start, so catching them was tough. I think Rodnoff had a big moment or a moment because he was on the back of Snai, and then I managed to be on the back of him before the pit window, jumped him in the pits. Fantastic to have. And yeah, it was a good second place. We was catching Snai as well. We had the pace over him, but just not enough time.
And obviously that feature race, you just are starting the podium, you were finals position. It looked like the MSA boys risked it on not taking tyres, which obviously on a circuit like this, I obviously tried it at Nürburgring and it didn't work. Oulton Park's a completely different situation. It's like the British version of Monaco. It's very difficult to overtake. How difficult was it to clear drivers like Tordok, who had no life left in the tyre?
He did a fantastic job. You know, I know we had a bit of a clip earlier in the race and he didn't pass me and we kept going at the hairpin, but to not take tyres here is it's a ballsy move. With it being such a bumpy track, the car slides a lot anyway, so the minute the car slides on old tyres, you're going to struggle to, recover the car. But like you say, it's the British Monaco effectively. Track position is key. And I was following Todd up before he made a mistake, and there was just no way through.
Obviously, next round of the season is Watkins Glen. Are you able to carry that momentum on?
I'd love to. Not a big fan of Watkins Glen. I never seem to do well there, but I'd love to. It's been good to finally be back in this room and chatting to you guys.
Well, sadly, obviously, leaving Oulton Park, you have now obviously dropped out of the championship and you will no longer be able to defend your title. But nonetheless, Matt, it's been an up and down season and you've been a brilliant driver nonetheless. So congratulations on tonight.
Yeah, cheers. Just want to say congrats to Jamal and to Snipe Race One. Brilliant job from them too.
And we do go to your race winner, Jamal Clouden. It has taken 20 races, but you have finally got a win on the car. Be honest with me. Which car did you expect to get the win first? Was it the McLaren or was it the Chevy?
I honestly, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect this race because knowing how quick O'Reilly's been all season, plus then the MSA boys, Friedman being up there as well, it was just up in the air. I was not expecting to be that far up the grid this week, I'll be honest.
Obviously, coming into the night, you do obviously have that small mindset knowing that this is, like I said, the British Monaco. It's difficult to overtake. How important was that pole position? Because that was pretty much what won the race for you tonight.
Again, as Matt said, position here is key. It's so narrow. It's literally just nowhere really to overtake. Yeah, I was kind of lucky to get that pole position because Matt was looking quick this week.
He did look very strong. Obviously, again, just like Matt did with Tordok, you then had the challenge of Sylph not taking tyres in the end. And also, you had the extra challenge because even I'd noticed that Sylph's internet was bouncing all over the shot as well. So not only did you have a struggling Ginetta, you had a bouncing Ginetta internet-wise. How difficult was that? Because I know, obviously, you're a driver that likes to get the job over and done with. And for once, you had to just be patient around here. And there was no clear opening.
No, for a couple of laps, he was proper jumping all over the place, and I couldn't tell if I was right up his bumper or if he was maybe half a second up the road. Yeah, it was kind of hard to tell where he was. Even when I was alongside him, he was still rubber banding alongside me, and I was just like, yeah, this is not going to end well. Yeah, it was just a real challenge, but I'm happy overall with the result.
Well, obviously, we've now moved to Watkins Glen. I know you're a massive fan of Watkins Glen in the Mustang. I know that for sure. Obviously, you now got that win off your back. You're now going towards Watkins Glen for the next round of the season. Chevy should be quite good there. Big, long straights. What do you think you can do there?
Again, never driven the Chevy around Watkins. Last season I was in the M4, so again, long straights, it helped the M4 quite a lot. Chevy still fairly quick in a straight line. We'll see. Again, I've got to think about that McLaren as well, because that McLaren is just ridiculously quick in a straight line. So We'll see. I mean, again, it's an American track. Chevy should do relatively good with the curbs, especially with the bus stop chicane. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the win tonight. It has been fantastic to you in the Crunch Bar, and finally to get that win off your back. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much.
And that is that. And obviously, we have Driver of the Day to also award to as well. And that has gone the way of Snai. Obviously, a fantastic race one. Matthew Duffin nearly got it, but in the end, it was Snai who ended up taking Driver of the Day. Hopefully, when I get round to it, hopefully the tables should have updated for me as well. So let's have a quick look at that. Yes, they have. It's still Kieran O'Reilly, though, leading away. He's got 133 points going into the final few rounds. 93, and he wins the title if he outscores Tordok. Friedman will end up being out of the championship after Watkins Glen. Clouden still hanging in there, but there's an opportunity for P2. He's only 30 points off the back of Clouden's Tordok. So all still to fight for in the final podium positions, but it looks like O'Reilly, with the momentum that he has at the minute, is able to take this title at Watkins. But anything can still happen. We do know that. But on in order: O'Reilly, Tordok, Sill, Clouden, Friedman, Hoopert, Duffin, McGowan, Hibbs, Carlos, Ramsell, Wright, Millington, Taylor, Stardog, Fernie, Skunky, Leach, Old Sim Racer, Clarble, Aberdeen, Tipping, O'Brien, Johnson, Smith, Vesley, Snai, Gooday, Unsworth, Archer, Zdanov, Rook, Wheel, Cummings, Madison, Lexi, Jackal, Betterson, and Storick is your drivers' standings. It is now just down to two teams. It is MSA versus Greasy Bandits. 109 points separating them, 317 left available. It's a real big opportunity for Greasy Bandits to try and claw back, but I think that MSA, as long as they turn up and keep it clean, they might have the team's title done and dusted for the first GT4 season. Then it's old school racers: Unknown Racing, SimPlay Racing, Cam Racing, Quantum Motorsport, Team Tom, Piston Pounders, Blunt Force Racing, Piston Pounders, Bumpers, Road Runner Motors, Star Wolf Racing, Audio Sport, Old Git Racing, Alexi's Industries, and RBGT Team. That has been Oulton Park for the GT4s. We shall see you all next week for the Watkins Glen event for the GT4s. But for GT3s, it is all still to come yet, as we've got a lot of racing. We got the Pro-Ams and Pros yet to hit the circuit. And what a week this is going to be. We're coming towards the end of the season. Clouden finally gets the win. And we shall see you all next time at Watkins Glen. Good night.